A single tin of Muti costs £1.60. The Tesco own-label tin sitting right beside it on the shelf costs 47 pence. Same fruit, same Italian fields, same product of Italy stamp on the back of both tins. Only the name on the front changes. You are not paying £1.13 for better tomatoes. You are paying for a name on a label. Today we expose 5 cheap tin tomato brands on UK supermarket shelves that are absolute gems sitting there completely ignored. At least one of them beat the premium brand in a structured blind test. They carry the same Italian origin declaration. They sit on the bottom shelf collecting dust while the branded tin at 3 times the price sits at eye level. Nobody reaches for them for one stupid reason. People do not know how good they are. Every single one of these is in a normal supermarket near you right now. Let us jump in. Most British shoppers walk straight past Asda's own label chopped tomatoes on the way to Napolina. They should not. Here is the assumption. You see the Asda label, the white packaging, the own brand font, and you assume budget means compromise. It does not. Not here. Asda chopped tomatoes in tomato juice, 400 grams, 47 pence per tin. Also available as a 4-tin multi-pack at £1.88, which works out at 47 pence per tin regardless. The ingredients panel reads tomatoes 60%, concentrated tomato juice, acidity regulator, citric acid. That is it. 3 ingredients, country of origin, Italy. 100% of ingredients from Italy confirmed. No calcium chloride firming agent anywhere on the label. Nutri-Score A. Now look at what you are paying not to have. Napolina chopped tomatoes, the UK's #1 tomato brand by volume, owned by New Princes, which was acquired by Italian food group Newlat Food in July 2024 for approximately £700 million. Costs 88 pence per tin at the 4-pack rate at Asda, Tesco and Sainsbury's. Up to £1.20 as a single. Napolina runs full national advertising campaigns. Napolina is in every recipe column, every food magazine, every supermarket shelf end promotion. Asda's tin has no campaign. It has no sponsored shelf placement, no above-the-line budget. What it does have is the same Italian origin declaration, the same 3-ingredient profile and a price 47% lower than the branded alternative. The Napolina Premium was never built into the tomato. It was built into 60 years of brand investment and the shelf-end fees that keep that logo at eye level, while the Asda tin sits on the bottom row. The Italian farmer gets paid the same either way. The tomato goes into the Italian processor either way. The difference is which name gets printed on the label that comes out of the other end. A 47 pence tin that carries a 100% Italian origin declaration, no calcium chloride, and the same 3-ingredient label as the branded alternative at nearly double the price. The saving is marketing budget, not farmland. Put 4 of these in your trolley. That is £1.88. Put 4 Napolina tins in your trolley at the 4-pack rate. That is £3.52. The difference is £1.64 per shop. Over a year, cooking once a week, that is £85 on the same Italian tomato. Number 4. Most people walk past Tesco's own label Italian finely chopped tomatoes because the tier above it on the shelf has the Muti name on it. That is the most expensive mistake you are making in the tinned goods aisle. Tesco Italian finely chopped tomatoes, 400 grams, 47 pence per tin. Also 4 tins for £1.88. Available in approximately 4,000 Tesco stores across the UK. The ingredient panel, and this matters, reads tomatoes 65%, concentrated tomato juice, acidity regulator, citric acid. 65% tomato content, no calcium chloride, Italian origin confirmed on the label, salt content 0.03 grams per 100 grams. That is exceptionally low. Nutri-Score A. Finely chopped format, ready for sauce without any additional breaking down. Now let us put Muti beside it. Muti pulper finely chopped at Tesco, £1.60 per tin. The price gap, 240%. Muti is a genuinely differentiated product, and we will not pretend otherwise. family-owned since 1899, based in Parma, all tomatoes grown within 60 miles of the factory and processed within 24 hours of harvest. 2 ingredients only: tomato and Mediterranean sea salt, no citric acid, non-BPA tin. Muti has earned its premium for a specific, documentable reason. But here is what most people do not know. At Tesco, you are choosing between 47 pence and £1.60. Both are Italian tomatoes. Both say product of Italy. One has a brand story that spans 5 generations. One has a 3-ingredient label and 65% tomato content. If you are making a Tuesday night pasta sauce for 4, you cannot taste that difference in the finished dish. The brand premium was never built into the ingredients of an own-label tin. It cannot get in. 3 ingredients, Italian origin, no firming agent, £4.52 cheaper across 4 tins than Muti. The only thing Tesco did not spend money on was the advertising. Number 3. Most people assume Morrison's own label tomatoes are the budget fallback you reach for when you have run out of options. That assumption is costing you money every single week. Morrison's Italian chopped tomatoes, 400 grams, 47 pence per tin. Sold in every Morrison supermarket. The label reads Italian chopped tomatoes. Country of origin, Italy. Ingredient profile consistent with the category standard. Tomatoes, concentrated tomato juice, acidity regulator, citric acid. No calcium chloride on the label. Produced in Italy. The packer behind Morrison's own label chopped tomatoes is not publicly disclosed. What is confirmed is that Morrison's Italian chopped tomatoes carry a full Italian origin declaration, and that means the tomatoes were grown and processed in Italy. That is a legal claim, not a marketing one. Now look at what sits beside it on the shelf. Serio chopped tomatoes, 95 pence to £1.25 per tin, depending on promotion. Serio is owned by Conserve Italia, a cooperative of more than 14,000 Italian farming families. 100% Italian supply chain. Over 100 years of heritage. A clean, transparent origin story. No calcium chloride on their standard chopped line, BPA-free tin lining. Serio is not a bad product. It is a cooperative farmer's product sold at a branded price. The Campania harvest does not care which label goes on the tin. An Italian processor grows Serio's tomatoes. An Italian processor grows Morrison's. The 47 pence tin and the 95 pence tin both make the same journey from a southern Italian field. The Serio cooperative was built to support 14,000 farmers and add a marketing layer on top. Morrison's own label was built to remove that layer. One model passes the cost to you. One model keeps it in your pocket. Italian origin, no firming agent, 47 pence per tin. The Serio name beside it costs you another 48 to 78 pence per tin. The tomatoes still come from Italy either way. Before we get to the top 2, a quick word about something most shoppers never do in the tinned goods aisle. There are 4 things you can check in 60 seconds right there in the shop before you spend a penny. These tests apply to any tin, any brand, any supermarket. Test 1. Read for the product of Italy wording. Look for the words product of Italy or Italian on the label. This is a legal claim. If a tin says Italian tomatoes or product of Italy, the tomatoes must originate from Italy under food labeling law. Watch for one specific fudge made in Italy from Italian and non-Italian tomatoes. That is a legal loophole that dilutes the claim. Every one of the 5 brands in this video carries a clean Italian origin declaration. Test 2. Whole versus chopped and what that tells you about the fruit. Whole peeled plum tomatoes in a tin require higher quality fruit. You cannot hide a poor tomato under the chopping process. Chopped tomatoes can legally include offcuts, broken fruit, and smaller grade yields. If the tin says peeled plum or whole plum, the processor had to start with intact, higher grade tomatoes. Multiple food writers and chef sources consistently recommend buying whole plum and crushing them by hand into the pan. Test 3. Flip the tin and check for calcium chloride. Look for the words calcium chloride or the additive code E509. This is a firming agent added to chopped tomatoes to stop them turning mushy during processing. It is legal and safe, but its presence tells you the tomatoes were cut before they were fully firm, a quality shortcut in the processing line. Italian processed tins typically do not use it. American tinned tomatoes almost universally do. If you see E509 on a UK-sold tin of chopped tomatoes, that tin probably was not processed in Italy. All 5 of our picks today have clean ingredient lists, no E509. Test 4. Check the drained weight. Regulations require the declared net weight to appear on the label, but do not mandate that drained weight be prominent. Look for it anyway. A quality Italian tin shows 240 to 280 grams of drained weight out of a 400-gram net weight, 60 to 70% actual tomato. If the drained weight is missing entirely from the label, ask yourself what is filling the rest of the tin. Aldi Cucina peeled plum, which is our #1 pick coming up, declares 260 grams, drained from a 400-gram net tin, 65% tomato. 4 tests, 60 seconds. They tell you more than the shelf edge label ever will. Number 2. Most people reach for the Muti or the Napolina at Sainsbury's because that is what sits at eye level. What sits below it is 47 pence. And in at least one structured blind test, the 47 pence tin finished ahead of the branded option, Sainsbury's Italian chopped tomatoes. 400 grams, 47 pence per tin. Also 4 tins for £1.88 at the same effective price per tin. Available in approximately 1,400 Sainsbury's stores across the UK. The ingredient panel: tomatoes 65%, concentrated tomato juice, acidity regulator, citric acid. Identical tomato content declaration to Muti, Napolina and Sirio. No calcium chloride. Italian origin confirmed on the label. Nutri-Score A. Now let us talk about the blind test. Food writer Tiny Budget Cooking ran a structured comparative test across 4 tinned tomato products. The Sainsbury's budget option ranked 2nd out of 4 products overall. Napolina chopped tomatoes ranked 3rd. The testers noted that Napolina was disappointing for the premium price, with insufficient tomato flavour. The testers noted that the Sainsbury's budget option was solid, usable, and above expectation. A branded tin at nearly 3 times the price ranked behind the own label option in a direct head-to-head. Napolina is not a bad product. It is the UK's #1 tomato brand by volume for a reason. Its tomatoes are processed at Prince's Industrie Alimentari in Foggia, Puglia, southern Italy, verified as authentic Italian origin by the BBC Panorama investigation into own-label tomato puree in December 2024. That investigation covered puree products only, not chopped tomatoes. Napolina holds a long-standing partnership with the Coldiretti Farming Association. It is a legitimate product at a legitimate price, but the price includes national advertising spend, UK distribution fees, and a branded shelf position that costs the retailer money. Sainsbury's Italian chopped tomatoes does not carry any of that overhead. The Italian origin of the ingredients is confirmed on the label. The 65% tomato content matches the branded competitors exactly. In at least one comparative test, it outscored the branded option. £1.60 for Muti, 88 pence for Napolina, 47 pence for this. Same Italian origin declaration, same 3-ingredient label. In a structured blind test, the Sainsbury's own label beat the market leader. The money you did not spend went on your table, not theirs. And number 1. Most British shoppers do not pick up Aldi's Cucina range because they assume Aldi means stripped back. They are right that Aldi strips things back. They are wrong about what gets stripped. What Aldi strips out is the brand premium, the marketing layer, and the wholesale distribution overhead. What stays in is the Italian tomato. Aldi Cucina peeled plum tomatoes in a rich tomato juice, 400 grams, 47 pence per tin, 260 grams drained weight. The Cucina range is Aldi's Italian-inspired own label. They're mid-tier above the Everyday Essentials line. Aldi's own description: 100% sun-ripened Italian tomatoes. The ingredients on the Cucina line are tomatoes, 65%, concentrated tomato juice, and acidity regulator, citric acid. No calcium chloride in any Aldi tomato line. Drained weight, 260 grams out of 400 grams net. 65% of the tin is actual tomato. This is why whole plum is at number 1 rather than chopped. Whole peeled plum tomatoes require the processor to start with higher grade intact fruit. You cannot hide a damaged or underripe tomato inside a whole plum tin. The tomato either holds together or it does not. Multiple food writers and chef sources consistently place whole plum above chopped for final dish quality, specifically for slow-cooked sauces and stews. Now here is the comparison that defines this list. Muti pulpa at Tesco, £1.60 per tin. Aldi Cucina peeled plum, 47 pence per tin. Price ratio 3.4 times cheaper. Across 4 tins, you save £4.52. Across a year of cooking, if you use 4 tins a month, you save £54.24 from one product swap. Muti is a genuinely exceptional product. Family owned since 1899, all tomatoes grown within 60 miles of the factory in Parma. Processed within 24 hours of harvest. 2 ingredients only, tomato and Mediterranean sea salt, no citric acid, no additives of any kind. Non-BPA tin, 3rd generation traceability, passed the BBC Panorama Origin verification in December 2024 with full authentication. If you want the absolute gold standard and you are happy paying for it, Muti earns its premium. That premium is real and it is documented. But here is what the premium does not change. In a Tuesday night pasta sauce, slow simmered with garlic, olive oil and dried herbs for 40 minutes, the difference between a Muti tomato and an Aldi Cucina plum tomato disappears into the sauce. Both are Italian tomatoes. Both carry no calcium chloride firming agent. Both declare Italian origin on the label. Aldi's Cucina was not named in the BBC Panorama December 2024 investigation into own-label tomato puree, and Aldi and Lidl were specifically not among the retailers named. When origin verification matters, Aldi was confident enough in its supply chain to lean into the story. That is not nothing. Consumer feedback across multiple Mumsnet community threads between 2022 and 2024 consistently places Aldi's whole plum tomatoes as comparable to Cerio in everyday cooking. One community thread specifically notes, not too dissimilar to Cerio, decent and not watery. A note worth adding, the Liverpool Echo Value Taste Test from approximately 2024 that scored Aldi Everyday Essentials chopped at 3 out of 5, noting they were watery. That is the Everyday Essentials line, 35 to 39 pence, the entry level below Cucina. The Cucina peeled plum is a separate, higher specification product. Do not confuse the two lines. The packer behind Aldi Cucina is not publicly named. What is confirmed is Italian origin on the label, 65% tomato content, no calcium chloride, and a properly declared drained weight of 260 grams, a tin that tells you exactly what you are getting. The brand premium was never built into the fruit, it was built into the label, and at 47 pence, that label keeps its money where it belongs, in your pocket. £3.40 cheaper per 4 tins than Muti. Italian tomatoes. No calcium chloride, 260 grams of actual tomato in a 400-gram tin. The most undervalued tin of tomatoes on the British supermarket shelf. 5 brands. 5 prices that should not be possible for the quality they deliver. The pattern connecting all 5 is the same. Each one removed a specific layer of the markup the tinned tomato industry built its profit model on. Asda removed the national brand advertising layer that Napolina built over 60 years. Tesco removed the premium positioning layer, an identically specified Italian origin tin stripped of the Muti or Cerio name that adds £1.13 to the shelf price. Morrison's removed the middle brand premium, Italian cooperative tomatoes, no firming agent, at own label price. Sainsbury's removed the national brand premium, and in at least one structured blind test, the own label option finished ahead of the branded tin. And Aldi Cucina removed both the brand premium and the wholesale distribution overhead. Italian plum tomatoes, declared drained weight, no firming agent, for £1.13 less on every single tin. Every one of them put the money into the tomato instead of the brand. The The shoppers who know these tins tend to stay quiet about it. They reach for the bottom shelf, they put it in the trolley without a second look, and they spend the saving on something that actually matters. They have been doing this for years. They are not making a compromise. They know something the person standing at eye level does not. If you own a cheap UK tinned tomato brand you swear by, Asda, Tesco, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, Aldi, Lidl, or a brand we have not named today, drop it in the comments and tell us the one dish it always nails for you. Help the next person find the gold mine they are missing. At Crisis Report UK, we don't just save money, we expose the system.